Speaking of the game he was talking about, we've all alluded to it at some points today. This was the game that everybody was talking about. Arch Manning and the Texas Longhorns fall to Ohio State 14-7. And hey, overreaction or reality, Alex, I'll come to you first. Arch Manning is overrated.
I disagree. I strongly disagree. Um, I I hated Sark's game plan. I think a big part of it was, did we really know what Matt Patricia was going to do defensively? You knew he was going to bring NFL schemes, but to what extent? You couldn't game plan Ohio State's defense that well because Jim Knowles is out the door. Obviously, you still have the guys like Caleb Downs and Sonny Styles and them there defensively, and phenomenal players on that defense, but you couldn't get that great a game plan. And when you've got guys like Wingo and Livingstone and those guys on the outside that can fly, it's kind of similar to what EK said about their offensive game plan. It was so conservative and so enclosed. When you have guys like that, you open up the field, you let Arch make all those throws. He's one of those quarterbacks that is dangerous to every single blade of grass on that field, can make all the throws. It seemed like he was kept on such a tight leash, and I don't really understand it.
What do you guys think?
I hate this conversation. Like, you all know I like Arch Manning, and I am like most like pissed at college football media and sports fans in general. Not fans, the sports media. It reminds me of when people got fed up with the news and politics, and they're like, all you're doing is just bashing and stuff, and we can't trust you. It's like, this guy was making his very first start in college football against a top 5 team in Ohio State Stadium, in the shoe, against a defensive coordinator who came from the NFL. And just like Alex was saying, and all people are doing is bashing this guy, saying he's a bust, all this stuff. And I'm like, are you kidding me? First off, is that no one talking about how the Ohio State quarterback too did not look very good either, and he was a 5-star quarterback? Is he of the same fanfare as Arch? Absolutely not. So I get that. But it's like, we are overreacting as a society too much and laughing at and bashing, these kids like this. I just, it really bothers me. I saw it, maybe I call it the barstool culture that is taking over sports, and it's like, it really bothers me. Like, did he play great? Absolutely not. Was it a rough debut? Yeah, okay. Yeah. But like, this whole just like, it's over for them. What about Sark? Okay. He resurrected his career at Alabama. You know who also was really good at Alabama as an offensive coordinator? Mike Locksley. Go look at what Mike Locksley's doing in Maryland. Every once in a while, he gets some guys. Lane Kiffin also resurrected his career with that talent. Maybe Sark is a great quarterbacks guy. Maybe Sark is a great offensive coordinator, but maybe Sark can't be a head coach. And so it's like, where's some of the blame there? It's like, I don't know. There's so much piling on Arch in this game. It's like, it's ridiculous to me.
Well, and I mean, that you watch Sark in Texas the last 4 or 5 years, that they never played that short or that close to the line of scrimmage. They constantly air that ball out. There's deep shots all the time because you're trying to make the defense honest. They were just like, hey, load the box, come play up. We'll keep tossing these screens to your 3 guys that are there to tackle them. Like, it was an atrocious game plan.
Mm-hmm. And yet that's not being said.
Mm-hmm.
EK, what you got to say about it?
Oh, I'm going to give it a different twist. Look, yes, 100% Arch Manning is overrated. 1,000%. But that's, none of that is his fault.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
It depends on what service you follow, whether or not he was even the top quarterback in his class. You go back, you look at high school. He didn't play for the best teams in high school. That wasn't his fault. He played on bad teams. That plays into your development. Mm-hmm. I've said, at least, in our fun little back and forths, I've said I need to see it. And And I do feel like so many people gave him this crown when we never really saw it in true meaningful time. And how someone is projected to be the #1 NFL draft pick by people when they've never started a game, a meaningful game,
Yeah.
makes absolutely no sense. So again, none of this is Arch's fault. He's got loads of talent. There's no doubt about that. I loved what I saw of his composure on the sideline. Like he was steady Eddie. Like it didn't happen maybe on the throws. Maybe there was a little nervousness, something like that. But yeah, absolutely. He's overrated. He's a freshman. Like not everybody is Johnny Manziel. There was only one Johnny Manziel. So yeah, let's give the kid some time, and that's really the big point. Of course, you're overrated when people are saying you're the #1 draft pick, and let's be honest, like it feels a bit like Tebow in the NFL. That's what it feels like. So many people want it to be something,
Right. Yeah.
and then that makes other people go, well, I can't wait for him to fail.
Yeah.
So it's tough, and it's really unfair to him. Completely unfair to him. I think he's got the chance to be very good. I also think it might take 2 years.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Like as long as you're doing it by your last year of eligibility, awesome. So rooting for him. I do also wonder, Alex, this is just the devil's advocate.
Yeah.
Was that game plan different because Sark knew it needed to be different? They're the only ones. Yeah, and I'm guessing not, but that could very well be what it is. He's the one who sees him every day. So he knows better than anybody what he can or can't do. But that'll all kind of play out as the season goes. He's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Like they're going to beat the brakes off of Oklahoma.
Yeah.
People in Texas will be happy. Like they're a good football team.
Very true.
Yeah. So,
true.
but yes,
Well,
1000% overrated.
And like for the first start to be, go play the defending national champions in their barn. Like that's
Yeah.
Right.
In the horseshoe. How many star quarterbacks have had issues in the horseshoe? Veteran guys. So,
but I guess let me say this, Alex. It like the result of what he did last Saturday wasn't going to put me in the he's rated properly if he threw for 5 touchdowns and 350 yards.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm getting at. And I full credit, like, dude, there was not a seat that didn't have red in it in that stadium.
They were insanely loud.
But I lean back on that. He was just so composed. Like we joke about how Drew Aller, like you watch him and it's like an emotional roller coaster, and he's a senior, and then you look at this freshman and it's like, all right, I threw a pick. I'll be back out there.
Right. Well, and it's the same thing that I feel about my guy that makes you feel good about your guy. It's like that composure, and then there's that they've got it, like where you're like, we've got this guy. It might not be now, but we're going to be okay.
Yeah. Agreed.
And you saw that at the end of the game. He was getting beat up. He was his passes were high all game long. But the game is still in you still have a chance. And they drove down. Once they kind of let him loose and he kind of got that comfort, took him right down the field, and then obviously gets that nice deep ball for the touchdown. So, I mean, and to your point, I think, everything just kind of aligned against him in this one. Now, I totally agree with you, Eric, that we've all been kind of saying, can he get a daggone snap in here first before we crown him? You know what I mean? But everybody, because he's the next Manning, crown him. But Alex, you said it. and Horseshoe. They're unveiling the national championship, banner or the numbers. Lee Corso's last game where he picks Ohio State on the field. You know what I mean? You have Sand coming here like, all I got to do is just
He's
hand it
buying with
off.
house money.
I'm good. And Arch is everything, all the attention on him. And it was similar, I think, to Bill with the expectation where everybody's sitting here like, oh, well, we have him, so we're going to be okay. We're going to dominate. We're going to, because look at his resume, or look at, look at his family, or look at all this around him and X, Y, and Z. And, play calling, I definitely thought that was part of the issue. But I also thought, like we all said, there were some crossing patterns that he didn't hit, or he kind of rushed some things early on. He looked like somebody that was playing their first major game starting, who was they're the number 1 team against the number 3 team, and this team is a solid squad. He just looked like what he was supposed to look like, in my opinion. Now, I bought into the hype. I'm not gonna lie, and like we all did to some degree, that this guy could be, because when you start seeing, like you said, Eric, he's supposed to be the Heisman front runner and number one overall and all this stuff before he's actually played legitimate minutes. It's like, wait a minute. I mean, I'd almost argue that it was kind of the same kind of hoopla as Dion's the big debut, where it was sold out and everybody was there and all that attention was on it. And it was kind of like, now, shout out to TCU because they put another still 40 spot on it, but it was so much attention, so much hoopla, and they had a vet at QB. Arch, I mean, he's still baby. He's still wet behind the ears. And that what we saw against a strong Ohio State team is what most likely was to be expected. He was going to struggle. But to your point, that composure kicked in, especially at the end, and he never stopped fighting. And he actually had an opportunity in that last drive to start driving him down. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to, get it done. But he has 5 more minutes in that game. Who knows what happens? And then are we having a different conversation? Are we saying, oh, he struggled early, but look at that composure. He has that it factor that came in later on in the game. So,
the most important thing he could have done, and the thing that shows the most promise, is with all that hype and with all that love, he took the blame after the game, like a good quarterback does. So that shows you the humility and, putting, even if you don't believe it, publicly putting that pressure on yourself, which is gigantic. And then let's just throw one last thing into this. I can't remember everybody's feelings, but not all of us were super duper high on Texas this year. And, we think they're good, but again, we don't know. So we'll see as they go throughout the season, whether was it just an Arch problem, or was it receivers? Was it the line? Like, is Texas as good as people thought they were?
One, is Ohio State better than a lot of us gave them credit for, is the other thing too. As much as I hate saying that.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
That's very true.